everybody, my name is Brian Landry, and this is Wasted Journeys. It's a web series where I talk about my journey into weight loss, and today is, or actually yesterday was my 1 month surgiversary, I guess people call it, but I'm 1 month post-op, and I just want to talk about the different things I've gone through to get to this point. The good, the bad, and the ugly, basically. First, what I want to talk about is how I got here. So, a number of years ago, I was starting to have back problems. I've been overweight all my life. Excuse me. But I've had back problems starting in about 2008. And it was causing me to be less mobile. Walking became very difficult. My joints and my legs and my hips were not able to carry the load anymore. So I went to the doctors to find out what was going on, and of course they told me I was overweight and I should probably see somebody about that, a doctor. And the doctor recommended me to a doctor here in Cornwall, named Dr. Levac, and she's pretty cool, very nice lady, and she told me that, maybe you don't have a lot of time left on this earth. And I'm like, what? And she's like, in about 5 or 10 years, you might not make it that far. So I was like, oh man, what am I gonna do? So she recommended me to some doctors actually, it was a clinic in Ottawa that deals with weight loss surgery. And at the time, I wasn't very educated. I didn't know what was going on with that kind of thing. In fact, I thought maybe, like surgery is a cop-out and the easy way out. And of course, now I don't think that because I've had the surgery. But at that time, I was very ignorant to this type of thing. So I was a little bit resistant, and I thought maybe I can do this on my own, and that's the route I took. I didn't go through the process. I didn't really, I went through it for a little while, but I ultimately decided that, it's not for me and I don't want to do it that way. So for a while I tried it on my own for a couple of years, and obviously that didn't get me anywhere. I was still way overweight, eating like a madman, and just getting sicker by the month. So I reconsidered and went back to Dr. Levac, and she told me, it's good that you came back. We'll take you back, and you can visit the doctors again in Ottawa. So I did that, and went through the process again, and went through all my appointments, sleep apnea testing, blood work, whatever they needed, I did. And I educated myself this time. I did all the research, and that's the big thing with this surgery. Make sure you know what you're getting into. I don't regret having this surgery whatsoever, but make sure you know what you're getting into. There are complications that do arise, and I'll talk about those later on in the video. Just be prepared. But yeah, so I went through, I think it was a year and a half, just doing all my testing and getting approval from the behaviorist and the dietitian and everything to say, okay, yeah, you go ahead with the surgery, you're ready. So I did all those things. I finally met with the surgeon in, I think it was March, and the surgeon didn't give me an exact date. He just said he would contact me and we would do the surgery. So at that time, I was just waiting to start the OptiFast diet, which started actually in May. So basically what happened was my surgeon wasn't getting back to me, and I was starting to get a little discouraged. So I made a phone call to his office, and I guess they didn't really forget about me, but they were just a little behind in making the appointment. So I called them, and I was like, "What's going on? I've been waiting a month and a half, and I haven't heard a thing for a surgery date." And they said, "Oh, okay, well, let's set up the surgery date." I was like, "Okay, great." So we set it up for June 12th, and that's when I had my surgery. During my OptiFast diet, I lost 50 pounds. Originally, when I met the surgeon, he wanted to do the sleeve, which, I was a little disappointed at that time. I thought that, you don't lose enough weight with the sleeve. Most you'll probably lose is 150 pounds, which is good for some people. The problem is I'm over 500, and 60 pounds. That's what I was at when I started this magic carpet ride, so to speak. So, 150 pounds would only get me down to about, 350 or whatever. And obviously for me, that's not acceptable. So I talked to the surgeon. I was like, "Are you sure this is the only thing I can do?" He's like, "Well, no, he's like, we'll do the sleeve. Then 18 months later, once you've lost 150 pounds, you can go back in and do the Roux-en-Y, which is the surgery I eventually did get, because I had lost, enough weight during the OptiFast diet. I lost like 50 pounds. So he said when it was surgery date, the day of the surgery, he's like, "Well, we're gonna go in. We're gonna see what it looks like in there. If you've lost enough weight, and it doesn't look too dangerous, we're going to do the Roux-en-Y." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know it was still on the table." And he says, "Well, we didn't want to give you, some false hope or whatever into, doing the Roux-en-Y, so we offered the sleeve, and everything looks good. So, you've lost a lot of weight, so we're going to go in and take a look and see if we can do it." So I woke up actually from the surgery not knowing whether I got the sleeve or the Roux-en-Y until he told me that he went in and did the Roux-en-Y, which was kind of interesting and nerve-wracking. So now I don't have to go for a second surgery, which I'm very happy about. That's the good. So during my time after surgery, the first couple of weeks were pretty good. I was on liquids, did that fine with the protein and just clear liquid, bariatric fluids, whatever. That was good. I got into the puree, which, didn't bother me at all. I was able to swallow it, no complications with that, until Sunday of, I think it was like, I don't know, the 20th or something, whatever week or whatever day that was. And I went to the bathroom and I was bleeding, and I looked at that and I was like, oh, this isn't good. So I called a friend up right away and I was like, "Man, I gotta get to the hospital in Ottawa." And I'm in Cornwall, which is like an hour away. I thought I was bleeding out, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? So anyways, he rushed over to my place, picked me up. We drove over to Ottawa, got me in the emerge right away, and there was no waiting around. They looked after me pretty quickly, and they admitted me into the hospital. I was there for 2 days. So during my time, they wanted to do what was called an endoscopy, where they put a tube down your throat with like a microscope or a camera, and they look around inside your pouch to see if there's any tears, bleeding, whatever. They found an ulcer, which stopped bleeding, thank goodness. And that endoscopy was pretty unpleasant. You feel like you're choking on something, but yeah, so they found that it was an ulcer, so they medicated me with something called Sulcrate, which I have to be on for like a month. I think I have a couple of weeks left of, or maybe a week left of that Sulcrate. It kind of coats the ulcer and medicates it and gets rid of it. And I haven't had any problems with bleeding since. But that was just the first part of that week. When I got home on that Tuesday, I was already feeling pain in my abdomen area and in my groin area as well. And I had let the doctor know at the time when I was in the hospital that I was having this pain, and he said, well, it could be from the scope that you got, the endoscopy, because they use a little bit of gas in the abdomen. And I was like, no, this feels a little bit different, but they discharged me anyway. So I got home, and I went to a friend's house, and I was feeling pain, and it was getting a little bit worse, so I asked him to bring me home, and I thought I would sleep it off. But I got up the next morning, and it felt like I had to go to the bathroom, like, you know, that crampy feeling that you feel when the plumbing is not working properly, and it was just getting worse. There was no relief. I couldn't go to the bathroom or anything like that, and my abdominal pain was getting bad. And actually, I videoed a part of that. I haven't released it yet. I'm not sure if I will, but I might, where I'm talking about it at least a little bit. And anyways, the pain got so bad I had to call an ambulance. I didn't know what the heck was going on. I thought maybe there was something wrong with the surgery. So I called the ambulance. They took me over to the Cornwall Hospital. And by the time I got to the Cornwall Hospital, I was in such agony, I couldn't believe it. I was like thrashing around a little bit and yelling and screaming. It wasn't a pretty sight. I was like asking the doctors to knock me out, and they're like, well, we gotta find out what's going on first before we can medicate you. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna die. I laugh about it now because it was quite the scene, but apparently the doctor said at one point that I started laughing hysterically. Not hysterically like a maniac, but, you know, I started laughing instead of, you know, feeling the agony. And she thought I went temporarily insane, which was kind of funny. But that's how much pain it was. I've never felt anything like that before. Anyways, they couldn't figure out what was going on, so they sent me back to the Ottawa hospital, which they did a CT scan, which, you know, they just do the whole body to find out if there's something in my pouch that's doing it, if I perforated the pouch, or if I did something to it. Turned out that it was a kidney stone that I was passing, and I don't know why the Cornwall Hospital couldn't figure that out, but the Ottawa Hospital figured it out. So yeah, so it was a stone. It passed that day. It was in my bladder. I just had to pee it out, and there you have it. So that was the second thing that same week. The third thing was the next day I went to the clinic because my arm was just like swollen and red and just not looking healthy. And I showed that to the clinic, and they were like, "Oh man, looks like you have a blood clot in your arm, and it looks infected." And I'm like, "How did that happen?" And then I remembered the nurse when I went in for the bleeding ulcer, like, had put an IV for hydration in my arm. Excuse me. And another one for a different medicine right beside the one for the hydration. And apparently you're not supposed to do that. But there was no other vein to put it in. All my veins were pretty much used up in my arm, so even the nurse said, like, I probably shouldn't be doing this. And I'm like, maybe you shouldn't then, but she did. And yeah, so it got infected, and there was a blood clot. So at that time, like that weekend, I was supposed to go on a trip down to Waterloo, and it looked like I wasn't going to be going because of all this, but I felt like, no, I've been in hospitals long enough this month, and I got to get out of town. I got to do something. I'm going nuts here with these complications. And they wanted to put an IV into me, like with a pump that just, you know, it's a battery operated pump that, you know, puts the medication into me, and I don't really have to do anything. It's all programmed for it to go off every 8 hours and give me my dose. And I was like, man, I am not staying behind, so you guys are going to have to do something about it. They were pretty resistant on the idea of me going on that trip, but I was like, I'm going. So you can either send the medication over to Waterloo and have a nurse over there come to where I'm staying and hook me up to this IV, or I'll just come back after my trip and you guys can hook me up then. And they were like, oh no, we're not going to do that. And I was like, well, send the medication there. So they finally worked it out. I drove with my friends over there to Waterloo, and we picked up the medication at a pharmacy where they left it, and the nurse came and hooked me up, and I looked like a freaking cyborg for the weekend, but it was worth it. That was a trip I'll never forget, so it was worth it to definitely go through all that. So by the time that weekend ended, there was no more infection. The clot was like almost gone, and I felt great. So I haven't had any complications really since then. The only problem I'm having now is with vomiting. I don't think I'm chewing enough, and it's definitely becoming a problem where like stuff will get stuck in my pouch or just at the opening, and it's such an uncomfortable feeling, and I just feel like I'm gonna die every time it happens. And I've been vomiting like once or twice for like the last 3 days, I think it is. I've at least vomited twice a day, and it's just a matter of me slowing down, chewing, and making sure that food is small enough to go into my pouch. I've checked with the doctor, he said, or the surgeon, he said, yeah, just kind of slow it down, and he said that I can be on the solid foods. I've checked with him, I made sure that was okay. It's been a month, so, everything should be fine with that, but I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I figured out how to eject food that has gotten stuck. I can almost vomit on command. I know it's gross and I'm sorry, but I'm just letting you know that I figured that out. And I don't know if I should be doing it, if that's actually hurting me or not. I'm going to have to check with my nurse practitioner when I go see her on the 17th of July. I mean, I know how to do it. It doesn't hurt, but I just don't know if I should be doing it. And if anybody knows anything about that, let me know in the comments below, and tell me if that's a bad idea or not. It probably is, to be quite honest, but I've been doing it and it relieves the pain and the uncomfortableness of it. Anyways, that's the only complication I've been having since my other ones. Otherwise, I'm doing good. I feel great. I have energy. I'm losing weight. I've noticed changes, just even in my attitude is even changed. I'm more positive. I don't have nearly any depression, which is great. That was a huge problem before surgery, just depression. And I don't have any of that now. So that's what this month looked like. Now I'll post more videos coming up. I've got some backlogged from even when I was in my complication stage, and I'm glad those complications are done. I got them done early anyways. I have videos during that time that are backlogged, and I have other ones as well, and hopefully I'll make one every second week to a month, just giving updates and whatever information about whatever. I want to make it more of a habit to do videos. This is basically what I've gotten into this for, is to kind of help myself and help others, and hopefully I can do that. So yeah, that's basically it. Also, go to my channel on YouTube. It's called Wasted Journeys. Just type it in the search bar, you'll find me, and I've got all the other videos that I've made. I'm not very good at making videos. I don't know. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But they're there. And if you enjoy it, please like, subscribe, comment. Just do it all, and let me know how I'm doing. This is a community that seems pretty tight knit. I've went to other people's pages, and everybody seems to have a good time with each other on those pages. So I hope to recreate that on my own page, and so far I have like 164 people, which, you know, it's not humongous, but it's great. You know, 164 people I'm able to talk to at any given time about any condition that I have. Not sure what happened there, guys. I think my camera just stopped for whatever reason. But anyways, this video's kind of gone on long enough, so I'm gonna probably end it here. Basically, yeah. So I have 164 people that I get to talk to every day, and hopefully you guys will talk to each other, learn, and just discover yourselves. Yeah. That's the whole point of this page, and I want to thank each and every one of you for being a part of that. So, oh yeah, one thing I want to just remind you that I'm running another little contest with everyone. The 300th person that likes my Wasted Discoveries page is going to win a prize, and whoever sends that 300th person, just let me know in the comments, and I'll take a look and confirm everything, and they'll win a prize as well. So I want to give back to, you know, everybody that has made this page possible, and that's basically it. So yeah, watch me on Wasted Journeys, like, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook at Wasted Discoveries. Wasted Discoveries Facebook. So yeah, I want to thank everybody again for watching my videos. My name is Brian Landry, and you have yourselves a great day. Bye.